What's going on? Alright. I see what just happened here. Uh, Listen, I can hear this guy, like, basically, he's got this demonic possession type of scream going on. It's during this new CERN ritual that just happened. So strange that this went down, and I see it and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's that crazy. But I see what it is. It says that in Revelations they will worship an image of a beast. And I think we just saw it. And also, I've been seeing this War in Heavens thing. This computer generated, almost as if it looks, things that keep playing out in the sky. And I even had this blanket just the wind just blew it into this position, right? I mean, they even used that in the ritual. I made a freaking video about, it was called scopolamine dose, where a dude was in his underwear. He got abducted by aliens and was in his underwear. There was this strange freaking underwear ritual on the train tracks. The train tracks is either the train tracks to hell or the FEMA camps, Disneyland. Then no, there is a video called Operation Disneyland. I think if you don't worship the image of the beast, it says they'll cause you to be put to death. And I made a video not too long ago. I said, how come every time they go to jail, they strip you down to your underwear and then they strip you naked, whether you're innocent or guilty or whatever? They just strip you. Okay, I seen that in there. They had these flying ghost things in there. That was really weird. Angelic things, a dancing goat. And during the War in Heaven, if that really happened, listen, Satan is cast down and he's very wroth because his time is short. If the Baphomet is a representation of Satan or whatever, and then look, the woman in the dress comes and wraps around him and he becomes one being, that's straight up Baphomet, male, female, hermaphro with the afro, I mean, you could see it, and it's the image of the beast, and they had zombie walkers that looked like that movie, man, what was that movie called, man? Divergent, where they're all walking lockstep from because they're under some kind of control by mechanical control, electromagnetic control from, that's another a Brave New 1984 type of a movie concept, just like that one Equilibrium with Christian Bale. I think that was called Equilibrium anyway, but this fucking ritual, and here's the thing, there was a Hades cult, the Mayans had the underworld cult, there's Cernunnos, the underworld stag deity, that's like a satyr. There was a lot of satyr imagery in there. There was also something really strange. These things, these ghillie suit wearer people in there, because that's all that those are, ghillie suits, just a little tricked out. And listen, look, it's a suit from head to toe where they've increased the borders of their garment, and they hang to the floor. But anyway, they're supposed to do there's supposed to be a name who's like Hal Haja Hassassin, which is the right hand man of the Mahdi, which is he's basically supposed to look like Chewbacca. That he has so much hair that you can't see his face, his front from his back. You can't tell, and his name's like Hal Hassassin, something like that. I mean, I probably straight slaughtered the pronunciation of that, but you could look up his name's the Assassin, and he's the right hand man of the Mahdi, which is the Antichrist of the Muslims, which is probably Chrislam. The false messiah of Chrislam will probably be the Mahdi. And will that motherfucker be a straight up goat, man? I mean, I don't know. Is he a sheep squatch? Because that's what it was. There was dancing sheep squatches uttering, like, look, tones of, look, of possession sound. And it was very voodonic, very scary, symbolic of, it looked like the Trail of Tears. There's a bunch of people marching in orange jumpsuits. That's like a brave new 1984. Just keep working to death, to the keep on working, building the train track right into the FEMA camp or the Operation Disneyland, where they're gonna throw you in the vaporization chamber in your underwear. But while you're on your way there, you might as well let them have some fun with you since you're in your underwear. Basically, that's the way they're looking at it, man. I mean, it's real gross. It's horrible and sick and depraved and just insane. I mean, and straight up, that's evil. That's evil. You're looking at it. Image of the beast. It's showing you. It's almost like the dimensions on the other side of the dimension too. They're trying to work towards being able to bust through into this one. And we're over here doing this, making that freaking machine, the big Yi Jing. And it's also the Mayan calendar, the way those things spin in circles, man. I'm telling you, there's something to that shape to do with people who had like superior advanced knowledge of time. So, just want to point that out. And it's like, it really looks like they're saying eventually they're going to break down the barrier. Some people call that the veil. And these things are going to come running out of the pit, and they're going to be angry because it's like from the war in heaven when the devil is cast down, Revelations 12. You know what I'm saying? And his time is short, and he's very wroth. So woe unto the inhabitants of the earth. And it's like if people knew what they were looking at, man, right there, sometimes it would be like, you would understand what time it is, man, and that it was also prophesied. Listen to that lightning. Some strange god of forces that his fathers did not know or something, right? In a way, this Sir Nuno's character, which they derived the name CERN from, I think, is kind of like a strange, like all these different. It's basically, they're just forces out there at work that you can't see. So, that's the thing. They worship these forces. But I mean, they're just called archons, powers, principalities in the Bible, angels, the fallen angels. These are their forces that they talk about because they also taught man knowledge. So they taught man how to manipulate the forces of physics and shit like that. Simple machines, levers and planes, screws, cranks. These things, you don't really need a whole lot of stuff, man. You can do a lot of stuff. So I mean, those entities that are trapped on the other side, like it's far in the north, where it's hard for man to get to. They're supposedly locked in there, and I'm not sure if they're saying they maybe unlocked it already, and it's just like it's like plans underway. We're marching forward. That's another thing. When you're on a train track like that, you're only going one way, and all that stuff there looked like it was going the wrong way. It was going into the dark, deep abyss of hell. You know what I'm saying? Into outer darkness or into the fiery pit. But even so, we got to remember this thing, that this earth will. Jesus says that the elements shall melt away with fervent heat, but yet His word shall not pass away, because His word is life and His word is spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's like people don't get it. It's alive too in its own way. Just like the people in it, speaks about. And some of them are not going to be alive because, and you look at the CERN ritual, that's the reason why they're not going to be alive. Because it's because of their own judgment. You know what I'm saying? It's because their plans towards others is what is the reason why it's going to come back on them and in a worse fashion. Look at that out there. Remember, my camera's fucked up. It's got a crack in it, so I'll let you catch what you can, though. Yeah, it's scary, man. With the CERN circle clouds and all that shit too. It looks like Ouroboros, that occult symbol of the serpent eating its own tail. They've made that. I've also realized that the Aurora Borealis is the Vikings when they said that there's a giant serpent in the sky and he makes the ocean thrash. They were sailing and they were seeing that giant sky snake, but it was really just the Aurora Borealis green thing floating around. Same thing, and then the sun dragon cult. You know what I'm saying? It's just worship of those things, man, of the sun and the fucking Aurora Borealis, and then the moon and some different stars and constellations. You know, they idolize these things, and then they become bad. You know, and it becomes a bad thing. Same thing with what we're seeing here with this worship of the image of the beast. That's really what it was. It was like, because when you dance around and flop around and prostrate your body in such ways, that's called worship. That's not dancing. That's not art. It's really a form of worshiping someone or something. And then you got this fucking goat thing running around. And all these assassins, which is the right-hand man of the Mahdi. So, there's a lot of weirdness with the beardness going on there, like the Sheep Squatch, Baphomet character. You know how I had a blanket ghost looking thing, or a man in a robe that showed up just from a piece of cloth hanging there? Now they got all these weird increased borders of the cloth, ghostly Halloween figures, you know, flying around like it's like it's the land of the spirits. And it's like the Hades cult, worship of the underworld, Orpheus, where he's got to go down in the underworld and all that. Let me think of what. And then it's also, the land of the Jaguar or some shit like that. And down South America, and then you got that jackal dude over in Egypt. Hades cult, Tartarus. Look, they used to mention hell, Tartarus, Hades. And if I'm not mistaken, another one too in the Bible. So there's a few descriptions. They use the Greek terms, and Sheol, that's also in there. That's in the Bible. So all these things, there's some validity to it. And like Hollow Earth, the angels are hidden in a Earth prison far to the north. And yeah, maybe it's like Saturn. Like, look how Saturn's got a hole on each end. They're trying to do that with Earth to open it up so that these beings can get back out. Maybe there is a lot to that. That is quite creepy, but this is definitely prophecy. This is image of the beast. This is worship of the beast. It really is, man. Of that worship of the image of the beast. Because if it was, what if that wasn't a real fucking entity, a real sheep squatch out there running around, and we're not starting to see real entities, but it just looks like, magicianry, but it's probably is magicianry, but it might not be. Because at any day, man, like literally, we might have new forces at play on the earth, like entities, angels, hybrid chimera beings, and augmented human super soldiers, like the lockstep marchers there, and maybe it's the Joel army. There's a lot of descriptions of this in the Bible too, and the locust from the pit.